Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sesh. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we got two awesome attacking games. First game has a game rating of 2100. So without any further ado, let's jump right into this. This game starts off with a Dragon Sicilian. I'm playing with white pieces, but this is actually my main opening with the black pieces. So I know this opening very well, but there's still a lot that we can take away from this game. I still don't know everything there is to know. Now, it's not a great idea to trade off this knight because my queen gets an uncontested position in the center of the board, and it's just a dominant position for white, so you're not going to see that. Instead, my opponent fianchettos his dark square bishop. I continue with normal development, supporting my knight, my good knight in the center, so when they attack it again, is already supported. No need to move my pieces. In the opening segment, guys, you do not want to be moving your pieces a lot of time. So if you have an awesome knight right in the center of the board, and they go to attack it, let's say instead I develop my knight and they attack it, we don't want to retreat this knight. We're going backwards. You can see the evaluation slipping. We want to support our pieces and keep them in strong positions. So continuing with natural development, anticipating his knight to develop and attack my pawn. He goes here instead, developing my queen, getting a battery. This is still all theory, guys. I actually do know this theory. He develops his knight, and now we want to play pawn f3, not because he's threatening to take this pawn, but instead he's threatening to come here and win my dark square bishop, leaving him with an uncontested bishop on the most powerful diagonal. So we don't want to let that happen. We stop his knight from coming in. He castles, and we're going to castle long. Still in theory, guys. Now, the first mistake from my opponent, wasting some time here when he should be focusing on his development, although he's probably preparing a pawn storm. I'm going to be preparing the same. That's the main idea here. In this opening, we castle opposite sides, and we attack on opposite sides with our pawns. And it's a bit of a race to see who's going to checkmate the other person first. That's why I love this opening. It's super aggressive, and yeah, so let's see how it's going to unfold. I start my pawn storm, already one move away from attacking this knight, and my opponent makes another mistake. The reason that this is a mistake is twofold. Firstly, they're blocking in their good bishop, and second of all, this pawn on d6 is extremely weak. Already have a battery lined up here. So I trade off my knight, and guys, I'm not immune to this. I'm sure it happens to everyone. I got tunnel vision here, and in my head, I'm like, all right, the plan for this opening is to attack on opposite sides and do a pawn storm, but this position's already tactically winning for white. Drop it down in the comments if you can see what makes this position so good for white, and I'll tell you it's not a pawn storm on the king side. So the reason that this position is so dominant for white is because we can crash through in the center, and we are just totally dominating this position. We have fast development. Black's position is totally cramped. We're hitting weaknesses already, and it's just a mess for black. They have such little space over here, and this is what we should have gone for. But instead, I got tunnel vision. I'm not immune to it, but that's why we're here to learn. So instead, I went for this plan to pawn storm. Not a losing mistake, but I am giving back a good bit of my advantage. I continue attacking. Notice this isn't a threat because if you take one of my pieces, let's say you take one of my pieces, I will be winning the rook down here with a check. So not worried about that. I'm going to try shredding open his position in front of his king. So now I trade off, and now you can see his dark squares would be super light, and even now his light squares without this bishop holding everything together. So I'm going to try and trade it off. Not the best move, but it's the plan I went with. So engine saying bishop c4 is better. Bishop c4. Yeah, completing my development, connecting my rooks. Can't be a bad move with a check. But anyways, we went for this. Developing, I trade this off. and the attack is already beginning. Notice my opponent has made little progress on the queen side. It's been a one-sided battle thus far. King has to move, so we go forward attacking this knight. And notice now the rook is pinning this pawn down. Knight has to move or be lost, and we're crashing through on the king side instead. King has to move. We give another check. Bishop blocks. Give another check. Now queen can't even block because we pick up the rook. Instead, we get king moving. Give another check with my knight. Trades it off. And now that was a key defender on the king from the king side. So we're good to go with our rook. And now tell me here, guys, drop it down in the comments. What move wins the game on the spot? Nothing brilliant about this move. It's pretty straightforward. Rook takes rook. Deflection tactic. If king takes, you lose the queen. It's a check as well. That's going to be game over. All right, guys. So key points from this game. Don't get tunnel vision. If you know an opening idea and a plan, you can fall back on that if you don't have anything else. But keep your eye out. You may have a completely winning idea that you're overlooking because you're so focused on your premeditated plan. All right, let's jump into the second game, guys. This game is really quick. It's a fast checkmate. Another Sicilian game. Let's jump right into it. So, all right, guys. So in this game, we have another Sicilian defense. I'm always looking to play the open Sicilian. I think it's super aggressive and a lot of fun to play. My opponent instead going for a different line, keeping things a bit more passive, striking in the center anyways, and continuing with my development. Now my opponent taking space on the queen side, but neglecting his development entirely. So I'm going to take more space in the center and try and crack things open. I have a lead in development, 2 pieces against 0. So if we can open things up, it should go my way. Finally, my opponent deciding to develop a piece, but we're going to crack things open. My opponent probably didn't like the look of his king getting dragged out into the center. It's not really the end of the world. Instead, he takes with the f-pawn, but we're going to go forwards and start putting pressure on his weaknesses, threatening to come out with my queen. He develops his knight. I pin it, looking to trade, and then again come out. He develops his knight. I do just that. And just like this, guys, who can tell me why is this move a blunder? I should hide the evaluation bar here. What makes this move a blunder, guys? My opponent hangs mate in 1. So super quick game there. If you got value out of this video, if you had fun watching, then hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button, and drop a comment down below. What could I do better for you guys? Anything you liked, favorite parts of this video, let me know, and you guys have a great day.